How's it going, everybody? Today we're talking about the dark arts of interviewing, or the dark interviewing psychology, if you want to call it that, where they try to test you, make you second guess yourself, introduce doubt into the conversation, and they use your reaction to gauge just how lowball of an offer you'll probably get if you interview at one of these companies that's doing this, that is. Now, I want to show you a post that's blowing up on Reddit right now called The Chair Test, a covert job interview test. Some interviewers use the chair method to assess candidates without them realizing it. They place a wobbly chair in front of the desk and a stable one in the back of the room, testing whether the candidate will speak up and request a switch. It reminds me of an old mediation trick, lowering all the chairs in the room to see how power dynamics play out. First one to assert control over their seating often takes the lead, while the others naturally fall into the roles of influence or submission. Hashtag job interview, hashtag career tips, power dynamics. What if the candidate doesn't shift in their chair? What if they're wondering why they can't afford decent chairs, but I guess I won't say anything since I'm in the interview and we're focused on what I can do for the company? I mean, do I really want to pause this interview to request a more comfortable chair? That seems kind of petty, to stop the focus on what I can do and make money for this company to talk about my specific discomfort right now. And if you really think about it, if they don't like you, there's really no winning with this situation. Because if they say they use this test to decide if they hire you or not, based on if you want the other chair that's not wobbly, but they still decide they don't like you, they can just say, actually, we thought it was a bit distracting and off-putting and even a little petty that you chose to stop the interview to request a new chair. It really just depends on the company. These are all power games that serve no purpose other than to intimidate you. I don't know. I think if it was me, maybe I would just fall out of the wobbly chair and then sue them and not work for them anyways, but still get a nice paycheck. Now, this isn't the first time that the chair test has come up on Reddit before. There's actually this one as well. Only this time, they add a second test. Put your applicant in the wobbly chair and ask them if they could be any type of animal. What would they be? And don't hire them if they don't ask to change chairs. And don't hire them if they don't choose a powerful animal like a lion or an eagle either. I mean, doesn't this entire thing remind anyone of the scene in Men in Black?
My name is Zed. You're all here because you're the best of the best. What will follow is a series of simple tests for motor skills, concentration, stamina.
Or take a look at a clip from this podcast where she talks about how they post jobs on LinkedIn, but if you don't scroll to the very bottom and find the actual email to apply to, you don't even get looked at.
Halfway through, it will explain in the About You section, it'll be like, you have a high attention to detail, this, that, the other. Then it will say, you understand that to apply for this job, you have to use the email that's at the bottom of this advertisement and address it to Victoria and send an email directly, including a cover letter and this and that and whatever I'm asking for. And then at the bottom, I put my email. If you apply directly on LinkedIn, I don't even look at it, because you did not follow the directions. And I mean, that's...
Boss uses coffee cup test in every interview and won't hire anyone who fails it. So basically, this boss named Trent here, who worked for this company named Zero in Australia, went on a podcast with this guy named Lambros. And the TLDR of this test is, he'll take you to go get some coffee or tea or something, and then you'll go back and do the interview. And one of the things that he's looking for is, does the person doing the interview want to take that empty cup back to the kitchen? You can develop skills, knowledge, experience, but it comes down to attitude. And the attitude we talk a lot about is the concept of wash your coffee cup. Maybe the person always cleans their dishes, no matter what, but because they're in the interview and a little bit stressed, they forget to do it or forget to ask about it. Or what about this one where a boss brings in 40 candidates and the remaining 20 candidates at the end of the day, well, they were lucky enough to get to cook the senior staff dinner. That was actually the final group activity. You see, the person that went there was told that the interviews will last from 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and you'll have individual interviews as well as time to mingle with all the other people you're competing with during the day. Only to learn on the day of, it's actually 5 interviews and then a group activity. Maybe it's just me here, but when you're an adult going into these interviews that want to play childish games with you, it's just demeaning. But that's actually exactly what these things are designed to do. Chip away at your confidence. It could be by the end of the interview that you're just so filled with doubt now, hoping you got all the questions right, that you just accept whatever offer they give you and feel grateful for it, even if it's a lowball offer. They're noting everything down about you by the way you react or don't react, whether you know it or not. Which brings me to today's sponsor, Aura. If you've never heard of Aura before, they're like the Swiss Army knife of online safety tools. I'll start off with the data broker removal tool, so you know all those free platforms that you'll love to use and give all your opinions to, preferences, personal information. Well, if the platform you're using is free, then you're the product being sold, which means data brokers have all of that information on you. And much like these interviews with the hiring managers, you'd be surprised at how much information is being collected about you. Beyond that, Aura also has a VPN, a password manager, and there's also tools to keep the family safe, so you can set restrictions on different websites or when the Wi-Fi goes off at night. Now, they also have financial protection with transaction monitoring, as well as credit monitoring, and you can even freeze your credit. All of this is topped off with a $1 million identity theft insurance package. And if you want to see what the internet has on you, all those data brokers, then click my link in the description. You'll get a 14-day free trial. You can go request they remove all that information on you, see if any of your passwords have leaked, all that sort of stuff. Thanks so much to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's jump back to these ridiculous corporate hiring games. And this article just seems like a reason to roast job candidates, just cuz. That's the new meta. This man was instantly rejected from a job interview after failing the trick test at reception. Guy comes into the interview, but he blew it within the first 5 minutes because he was dismissive to the receptionist. She greeted him and he barely made eye contact, tried to engage him in a conversation, no eye contact, no interest in speaking with her. But what the candidate didn't know was that the receptionist was actually undercover boss. Turns out it was the hiring manager. Got him. You really showed this person. So I called him back to the conference room and explained how every single person on our team is valuable and worthy of respect. And due to his interaction with the receptionist, the hiring manager did not feel he was a good fit. Be nice to everyone in the building. Imagine just thinking about how you're gonna answer interview questions and maintain your calm and poise. But nope, you have to perform perfectly. And then there's this one. If you didn't think it was ridiculous enough already, because of course not, worker shares his response to a job interview who asked him to pretend to be Superman. I think at this point we're just trying to humiliate people in interviews. They wanted a 1-minute recording of a video where you pretend you're Superman and describe why you're a great fit for this position. But how are interviews treating you? Let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button, and if you want to see me call out more of this corporate nonsense, then click the subscribe button. Thanks again to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Click my link in the description. You'll get a 14-day free trial. You can go see what the internet has on you and then request they delete it. You'll be surprised. Having said all that, I hope everyone is doing really well, and I'll see you in the next one.